say we're meeting him?
About 9.
It was nice of you asked me, Philip. I really do appreciate it.
That's all right.
What's mine like?
She's a very sweet, sensitive girl.
You mean she's ugly?
She's not ugly. She's very attractive.
Good. Why am I getting her then?
Because she's a friend of this girl I'm seeing. They wanted a force, and they said if I knew someone reasonably presentable with a pleasing personality, to bring him along.
And you thought of me?
No, he couldn't come.
What about Ruth?
Ruth?
Yeah, did she know you're seeing this girl?
That doesn't matter anymore. You see, I've told her.
What about the 10 wives?
Yes.
How'd she take it?
Well, she wasn't very pleased. You know how she hates crowds. She was quite upset about it.
Do you think she'll start reaching for the aspirins?
I hope not. What could I do? I had to make a clean break.
You have to be cruel. It's kinder in the long run. Good looks can be a curse sometimes. Where are we going tonight then?
I thought we'd go for a drink then. Back to their place. They've got a self-contained flat.
A self-contained flat? I'll have to put a clean vest on.
Alan, you don't speak about it. Excuse me.
No.
Hey, is there plenty of hot water, Rigsby?
Why? What do you want to know for?
I want to have a bath.
Now look, I'm not having you in there all night preening yourself. Once you get in front of that full-length mirror, you lose all track of time.
It's no good having a good body if you don't appreciate it.
Oh, yes, I wouldn't mind if it stopped there. Last time you were in there, you were trying to see how high you could get your footmarks up the wall. Left that place swimming in water.
Hey, I think I'll use my soap bunny.
Are you sure? Oh, you've had him such a long time.
Best to get wet sometimes. Hey, what's this? The masculine spray to brighten up any man's bath time.
Masculine spray. I know you. You'll come out of that bathroom looking like Veronica Lake.
Who's Veronica Lake?
Who's Veronica? Don't you know anything? She's a very famous film star. Long flowing hair. You're a lot like her, except she wore less jewellery.
Don't you worry about me, Rigsby. Times have changed. You don't have to go about smelling of old socks anymore. You just make sure there's plenty of hot water.
Is there going to be any room for it? Look at this stuff. You realise you're damaging the atmosphere with this, don't you? What's this, fly spray?
Well, that's to keep my hair in place. It's very useful if I get caught in the rain.
Of course that you never get caught in the rain. You won't go out if you read the weather forecast. Look, if you want to keep your hair in place, keep it tidy, why don't you do what I do? Use soap and water.
You know why, Rigsby? Because when you get caught in the rain, you come out in little bubbles. I can't afford that. I've got a date tonight.
Oh, I thought so. I wonder why we're having this sudden interest in personal hygiene. What's she like?
I haven't met her yet. Philip's arranged it.
You mean she hasn't seen you?
No.
Oh, she's in for the shop, then.
Look, Philip asked me because I happen to be the sophisticated type they were looking for.
Sophisticated? What are you going to wear? Your Donald Duck shirt or those jeans with the come and get me on the crutch?
Hey, that's the point. Hey, what am I going to wear?
What am I going to wear?
Hey, Philip, what am I going to wear?
I don't know. Wear what you like. It doesn't matter.
Well, look, I believe in preparation. I mean, I want this to go like a well-planned military campaign.
Why don't you wear your RAF overcoat, then? Well-planned military campaign.
Look, you're only jealous, Rigsby.
Jealous?
Hey, did I tell you? Hey, these girls have got a self-contained flat. I can see it now. 3 vodkas, a few packets of cheese and onion crisps, and Geronimo.
Oh, should we do this? You never talked like this before you came, you know. My God, you've changed. Even your voice has got deeper.
It's better than being furtive about it, Rigsby.
No, it isn't. I preferred him when he was being furtive. Do you know he arrived here with an ivory prayer book in one hand and a teddy bear in the other? Look at him now. Fully paid up member of the Permissive Society.
Well, I haven't changed that much.
Oh, yes, you have. Before he came here, all you knew about women was what you read in those magazines.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. I used to see you hanging around in Smith's. Pretended he was looking for practical woodworker. Yes, always turning to the centre pages. He thought all women looked like that, you know. Yes, must have come as a great surprise to you to find they hadn't got staples across their stomachs.
Look, there's nothing wrong in admiring the perfection of the female form.
The perfection? That's not perfection. That's all accomplished with body makeup and sellotape. You know, that's sexploitation, that.
I couldn't agree more, Rigsby.
Yeah.
In my country, we find that sort of thing degrading. We don't feel sex is something to be sniggered at.
Yeah.
We don't read those sort of magazines.
Of course you don't. You don't have time to read about it, do you? Yeah. Too busy doing it.
At least they don't have to draw diagrams for us, Rigsby. No one has to tell us where the erogenous zones are.
The what?
The erogenous zones, Rigsby.
Oh.
You don't know where they are.
Oh, of course I do. Somewhere near the equator, aren't they?
I told you, I didn't know where... Look, the erogenous zones are those parts of the body which are most sensitive to sexual stimuli.
Oh, well, those are erogenous zones.
Look, you take the ear. That's an erogenous zone. You blow in Miss Jones's ear and you'll be staggered at the results.
Now, you watch your tongue. I'm not having that sort of talk around here. This is a respectable house.
Well, times have changed, Rigsby. We believe in love without fear.
I seem to remember the last time you indulged in love without fear. You spent 3 days under that bed hiding from her father.
Oh, that's different. He didn't like me.
He didn't? Oh, dear, that does amaze me. What are we going to possibly bet against you?
Well, he said I was damaging his edge. We used to lean against it.
Yes, I can understand his feelings. My God, he spends years raising his daughter to perfection, to the flower of womanhood, and what happens? Along comes this long-haired Herbert in surgical boots, starts swinging on his gate, damaging his edge, and chatting up his daughter.
Well, there were other things. He found these letters, and they were open to certain interpretations.
Oh, I bet they were.
He said he was going to wring my neck.
You shouldn't have read your letters.
That's what I said. Well, not to him, like, but that's what I said.
I bet you did. Well, of course he should have read his letter. It's his duty to protect his daughter. She's his responsibility. He's got to shelter that innocent girl from the likes of you. Do you know, when I was your age, it was very important that, you know, the purity of a woman. It's the finest gift a woman could give to a man on their wedding night. Now he has to make do with a set of cufflinks. Just you remember, the Permissive Society stops at that front door, all right? We don't want any of it in here. Miss Jones, are you all right?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rigsby.
Oh, are you quite sure, Miss Jones? You look a little distraught. Shall I make you a cup of tea?
Tea? Oh, my God, tea! Why do you always think a cup of tea will solve everything?
I can see you're a coffee drinker, Miss Jones. Have you been watching the television again, have you? It's enough to give anybody the willies. Here's depression moving in from the North Sea, another run on the pound, and Valerie Singleton's shopping baskets up again.
I walked by the canal tonight. It looked so inviting. Just a splash and a short struggle, and it would all be over.
Oh, no, Miss Jones, no, you mustn't talk like that. Besides, you wouldn't get much of a splash out of that canal. It's too full of prams. Now, if you're thinking of doing anything like that, Miss Jones, it'd be quicker to drink it. You really mustn't be having these morbid thoughts, Miss Jones. I know things look a little black at the moment.
I can't take any more.
Yes, there, Miss Jones. I do understand. Is it the social contract, Miss Jones?
No, Mr. Rigsby.
No?
It's something more personal than that.
Oh, it's a man, isn't it? An affair of the heart.
I'm afraid so, Mr. Rigsby.
Yes, well, if there's anything I can do, Miss Jones, anything at all, if you want him duffing up,
No.
just say that.
That won't be necessary. It's the deception I can't stand.
Oh, you see, you're too trusting, Miss Jones.
I suppose so. What hurts even more, I've done his washing for 3 months. He said no one could get his whites as white as I did. Now he's got someone else.
No, you don't know them, Miss Jones. He could be using a laundrette. You just tell me his name. I'll be round and have his tripes out before you can say
Oh,
no.
no. That'll only lead to unpleasantness. No, I must try and forget him. But it's so hard when you've had your finest feelings trodden on. It's times like this, Mr. Rigsby, when I envy the simple amoeba.
Ah. The amoeba, Miss Jones.
Yes. When they want to reproduce, they just wander off and split themselves into two. I know it doesn't sound very romantic, but at least it would make life less complicated. Don't you agree, Mr. Rigsby?
Not giving it a great deal of thought, Miss Jones. Certainly put the lid on Marjorie Proops.
You see, this isn't the first time it's happened.
Oh, no, I didn't know that, Miss Jones.
I don't often talk about it.
Oh, it's all right, it doesn't mean.
The memory is still quite painful.
Quite understand, that's another word, yes.
He was plausible too. So sensitive and charming, until he saw the wedding presents and something seemed to snap. He went, so did the presents. The last time I saw him, he was driving down the road in a hired minivan with my father clinging from the roof.
You do seem rather unfortunate in your choice of men, Miss Jones.
Where do I go wrong, Mr. Rigsby? Perhaps I should be more permissive. No,
you're an example to us all, Miss Jones. Someone to look up to.
You're a tower of strength, Mr. Rigsby.
Oh, you see, Miss Jones, there's no respect anymore, you see. I just don't know how to treat a woman of your refinement. I consider it a great privilege if you'd allow me to help you pick up the pieces.
Is there a draught in here?
so much, Jim. Under the circumstances, do you think perhaps it'd be a good thing if I stayed the night?
Oh, no, I shall soon be asleep.
Oh, I can easily bump down on the settee.
No, I've taken a sleeping tablet.
Oh, all right.
But it is nice to know that there's someone in the house I can respect. Mr. Rigsby? Someone with standards?
Yes, of course, Miss Young. Well, there's very few of us left. Yes. Well, I'll be saying good night then, Miss Young.
Good night, Mr. Rigsby.
Yes, right.
Again. My God.
Well, what's the matter?
You know what's the matter? It was a disaster and it was your fault.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought it was going to be 3 vodkas, a few packets of cheese and onion crisps and Geronimo.
Oh, well, I hadn't met them then. I mean, they seemed too sophisticated for that. And they were interested.
Interested? They were mesmerized. And when we got back to the flat and they said, what should we do? And you suggested Scrabble.
What about all those 4-letter words, eh? I could have led to something.
Well, it didn't tonight. They couldn't wait for us to go. And I don't blame them.
Look, perhaps I should have told you, Philip. I don't usually try anything on the first date.
On the first date? You mean you get a second? And you went this time.
All right, I'm sorry.
You're frightened of women, aren't you?
No.
You've never really known a woman, have you? Not intimately.
No.
Then why do you tell so many lies?
Well, you know what they say about students. Just didn't want to get a bad name, that's all.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh, it's all right for you. You've got 10 wives. Nobody can question your experience. How old were you when you first?
Oh, it was all part of my initiation. Went with the tribal marks on my 14th birthday.
Your 14th birthday? All I got was a bike.
But don't worry about it. You're going through a phase. You're just a little immature, that's all.
I'm not immature. Am I? Hi, man.
Hey, did you have a good time last night?
Oh, yeah, very good, very successful. Remind me to carve another notch on the bedpost, Ruth.
Another. My God, you student. Well, personally, I think you're disgusting. I don't know how you can be so depraved.
Oh, it isn't easy. It takes a lot of practice. You take last night, for example. It was all a question of technique.
Technique?
Yeah. Well, look, you can compare a woman to a finely tuned piano.
What?
You have to approach her like a concert pianist. It's no good just sitting down playing chopsticks. Look at that, eh? Long tapering fingers. They're piano players' hands, they are.
Long tapering. This girl last night, was she like, could you compare her with a finely tuned piano?
Of course. Mind you, I did experience a bit of resistance.
You mean you couldn't get the lid up?
See that? That's where technique comes in, you see. What I did was, I looked deep into her eyes, told her she was a woman. The woman. Woman, the eternal mystery. Then I whispered a few French phrases in her ear.
A few French phrases?
Yeah, I always get them going.
What happened then?
Well, at first I could see she was a bit cool, you know, but then after a while I started having some effect, see? She started polishing her glasses in an agitated manner. She began to shake like an aspen leaf. The Scrabble board fell to the floor. And then the old scene started crashing on the rocks. Chimneys started falling down, there were coloured lights. And there, in the background, Tchaikovsky.
He was there as well, was it?
But you know what I mean?
Yes, all right, yes. Do you reckon any of this would work with Miss Jones?
Of course it would.
I'm not so sure. She's a bit depressed at the moment. I don't think she's in the mood for factory chimneys. She's just been let down by some bloke.
Well, you could restore her faith in men, Rigsby.
Oh, yeah. There's only one snag there. Happened to be married, don't I?
Oh, well, that doesn't matter.
I should never have done it. Wartime romance. God, it was a military blunder on the scale of Anzio. Do you know, the only woman ever really fancied in those days was Greer Garson. Used to see all of her films there in water pigeons. Oh, my God, they don't make films like that anymore, mate. Yes, always meant to marry a woman like that.
Was your wife like Greer Garson?
Huh? No. More like Walter Pigeon.
wouldn't worry too much about being married, Rigsby. I mean, marriage is an outmoded custom, isn't it? We live in a modern society.
Yeah,
It's
especially
all a
right.
question of personal freedom.
Yeah.
So,
What was it you said? Few French phrases?
M'aurais-tu froid, frère? M'aurais-tu fond, fond,
Or promenade avec moi ce soir, Miss Jones.
What?
Have you seen Ruth?
Yeah,
How did you seem?
not very happy. She's wearing her blue glasses.
Well, there's nothing I can do about it.
No, right. You've got to be cruel.
Absolutely. You know, this could be your big chance, Alan.
What? Oh, no. You're not getting me involved.
Alan, Ruth's a wonderful woman.
Is she?
A wonderful woman, and she's lonely.
Look, she's so wonderful. Why is she lonely?
Because you don't appreciate her.
You mean you don't appreciate her?
I'm not good enough for her.
You've never said that before.
I think you need each other. This could be your big chance. After all, she's a great believer in charity, always prepared to help a worthy cause, to aid the deprived. And there's no one more deprived than you, Alan.
Now, wait a minute.
After all, you've got something special, Alan.
What's that?
Your innocence.
Oh, well, I'll hang on to it for a moment if you don't mind.
Alan, you can't carry on like this. You'll pop your cork. Why don't you go to her?
What, like this?
Why not? Think about it. You won't have to tell all those lies anymore. They'll be the truth.
I suppose she gets angry.
She won't. After all, it's a compliment.
Is it?
You're going there to make a humble offering.
I suppose she tells me what to do with my humble offering.
She won't. But of course, if you really are afraid of women,
I'm not afraid.
just a little immature.
We'll see about that.
Miss Jones,
Mr. Rigsby, what are you doing here at this time of night?
I had to see you, Miss Jones.
Surely, it could have waited until the morning.
No, I've waited too long already, Miss Jones. Time is running out for me.
I don't think I quite understand, Mr. Rigsby.
This is my September song, Miss Jones.
You're not going to sing, Mr. Rigsby. Not at this time of night.
Miss Jones, I've been meaning to tell you this for a very long time. I find you a very attractive, desirable woman.
Oh, Mr. Rigsby, surely this isn't the time.
Yes, of course, I've always known there was someone else. But now he's given you the elbow, it's just you and me. He could never... What's that? He could never appreciate you the way I do, Miss Jones. You're like a finely tuned upright.
I beg your pardon.
You need a very light touch.
Do I, Mr. Rigsby? What would people think?
Oh, only swacky mally pons, Miss Jones.
I beg your pardon.
You must know how I feel. I've always admired you.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Rigsby.
Respondez, s'il vous plaît.
Mr. Rigsby.
Dieu est mon...
Mr. Rigsby.
Miss Jones, why should we live alone? Say you'll come down to the ground floor. Oh, here it is again.
Please, let me get my breath, Mr. Rigsby. This is so unexpected. Don't think it's not appreciated. You've paid me the finest compliment a man can pay a woman. A proposal of marriage.
You what?
You are asking me to marry you?
Not exactly, Miss Jones. No.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Well, there does happen to be a slight drawback where marriage is concerned. I do happen to be married already.
Mr. Rigsby, and I thought you were different. You come up here with talk of finely tuned uprights, and all the time you're planning an adulterous liaison with me. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, Miss Jones, marriage is an outmoded concept. We live in the permissive society, Miss
Not
Jones.
in this room, we don't.
You don't understand. You see... Miss Jones, there's someone in your wardrobe.
I keep a man in there, or didn't you know? Perhaps you'd like to see him.
Where do you think you're going?
Well, so it's going to go out.
Gonna go out? You can't go out. The sun's up. You should still be rested in your coffin, you bloody vampire. Right.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm moving the furniture. Give myself plenty of room.
What for?
What for? To swing you round in.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Rigsby. About last night?
Yes, what about last night? What can you possibly say?
Evil is in that eye of the beholder.
Not last night it wasn't. I wasn't the one in the wardrobe. Miss Jones didn't know where to look. I've always suspected you. I think it's your narrow forehead. Well, look, you're not going to try with Miss Jones's feelings anymore.
I haven't trifled with Miss Jones's feelings.
Well, what were you doing in her wardrobe?
Well, I don't know. I went in there on an impulse.
Oh, what?
Well, look, I haven't trifled with Miss Jones's feelings. I haven't trifled with anybody's feelings.
What do you mean there's never been any coloured lights? No sea crashing up against the rocks?
Never.
You're a member of the permissive society. You're supposed to know where the erogenous regions are.
But I know where the Himalayas are, but I've never been up them.
You've got a very vivid imagination, that's all I can say.
Well, look, I have to have, don't I? I mean, I'll never be Bachelor of the Month if I tell them the truth. That's why I put it round that I like my birds with little mouths and long and leggy, and that I take them out to Greek restaurants and wine and dine and then whip them back here to a few records and a bit of How's Your Father. Oh, hello, Mr. Cooper.
I've been looking for you.
Have you?
Yes. In fact, we've all been looking for you. You're a very difficult man to find. Sandra is very upset.
Is she?
Yeah, she's got this idea in her head that you two are engaged.
Oh, well, yes, we did have a bit of an understanding.
No. She's got the understanding. I want to know what you had.
I don't understand.
Don't you? You come to my house, you eat your way through the deep freeze, you damage my hedge, and then you calmly walk off, leaving Sandra in tears. I want to know what you're going to do about it.
Oh, well, I think there must have been a bit of a misunderstanding.
No. There's been no misunderstanding. I've got one of your letters here, written in green ink. I can't wait to see you, mon chéri. Your body is like a highly tuned piano. What music we will make together. Meet me tonight by the hedge. Do not fail me, as I am burning with desire. Au revoir, mon petit. P.S. Make sure old Misery got his out of the way. And it's just a sample.
Misery goes very good.
I suppose you think that is funny. I would have expected more concern from his father. I should have known better. You both got that same depraved expression. I've only got to look at you to see where he gets it from. You're one of these people responsible for all this permissiveness, aren't you? You know, I realise that Sandra has had a very narrow escape. Fancy having you for a father-in-law.
Just a minute, I'm not his father. And he's quite right, you shouldn't have read his letter. You people are all the same. You go rabbiting on about the permissive society. Have you seen it? No, it doesn't exist. It's all in the mind. It doesn't exist. I should know. I've looked for it. So don't you coming in here telling us how things have altered, because they haven't. So you take your nasty little thoughts and get out of here. Go on. Before you get on your bargain. Go on. Get out of it. My word.
That was very good, Rigsby. You really told him off.
Yeah, you see. It's the same in wartime. Once the chips are down, whoa.
Really grateful, Rigsby. I mean, I couldn't have done it
It's
without
all
you.
right, Alan, anytime.
Hey, look, there he goes.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, get out of it!
Well, his tail between his legs.
He's going to his car.
Yes, you getting in?
Yeah, there's two other fellas getting out.
Who are they? Yeah, God, they're big buggers, aren't they? Look at the shoes of that one on the left.
Hey, I tell you what, Rigsby. They're Sandra's brothers.